People who've lost a lot of weight, how did you do it? Ate less, ate healthier, and exercised. I didn't make a lot of big changes at once either. First thing I did was cut sodas out of my diet. Then a couple of weeks later, I started leaving cheese off my burgers and hot dogs. Couple of weeks after that started ordering small meals at fast food places instead of large ones. Then I started eating cucumber slices instead of chips/fries. Then instead of eating shit like candy bars, I switched to chocolate-covered fruit, and eventually to just regular fruit. Stuff like that. As for exercise, again, nothing major. First change was walking once around the block I lived on. For weeks that was it. Then I started adding in bicep curls. Then sit-ups. Then push-ups. Then light stretches. Over a 6-month period I went from 345 and walking a half-mile leaving me breathless and with chest pains to 267 and walking several miles at a time. Stopped drinking and started exercising daily. People don't realize how many additional calories they're often consuming when they drink beyond the alcohol itself. Pre-gaming for the party tonight, better eat a heavy, carb-rich dinner. Now I'm hammered and donuts sound really good. Now it's the next day and I'm hungover, so I'm going to eat a greasy breakfast. You stop drinking, a lot of those bad eating habits disappear too. Walked 1 hour in the morning, and another hour at night, after completing all the daily tasks, cut out as much sugar as possible, stop stuffing my face and only eat until I am about 80% full, lost about 30 pounds after 5 months. I heard that in Japan, they don't ask, "Are you full?" They ask, "Are you still hungry?" That's a good way to look at it. You should stop eating when you're not longer hungry. From my personal experience, I tend to overeat, so I have to train my mind to stop overeating. I think as a culture, our portions are so big and that contributed to overeating. But I'll start asking myself if I am still hungry. Daily 30-minute walks, limiting sugary soda, substituted plain carbonated water made with SodaStream, moderation of food intake. I lost 80 pounds over the course of a few years. My first step was cutting out sugary drinks and going for daily walks. 2 simple lifestyle changes that led to 30 pounds being lost that first year. I became diabetic, overnight changed all my eating habits. Went low carb, stayed 20 net carbs or less, no cheat meals/days, for 9 months. A couple months in, after adjusting to low carb, started counting calories and documenting everything I ate. And also added more workouts, mostly sit-ups and walking. After 9 months my A1C was well under the diabetic limit, so I upped my net carbs to 50/day. Stayed on track with everything else. Lost 70 lbs in a year to year and a half, but more importantly I learned to control my diabetes with my diet. Became a mailman. My brother-in-law became a mailman and there was this big hype that he was gonna start losing weight. 6 months later it's like, how are you working 14-hour days and walking 15,000 steps and not lose anything? My sister later found out there was a $15 charge on the debit card almost every workday for AM/PM. He was buying fried food from the hot case every single shift, on top of his lunch that he would pack for himself. Mine is not the greatest or cheapest way, but I lost weight really fast. Here's how you do it. First, get yourself a tumor that grows so big, it starts to cut off the blood supply to your stomach and your stomach starts dying. Spend 6 weeks in the hospital with multiple surgeries where you end up with unintentional bariatric surgery. Your stomach will be about the size of a walnut. Then get cancer on top of that with 6 months of chemo where you can barely keep down the protein shake supplement. That's how you go from 165 to 100 pounds in a couple months. Be prepared to lose a lot of muscle mass as well. And money if you're dealing with the American healthcare system. Intermittent fasting, severe depression and going to the gym every day, if not every other day. Lost about 40 pounds that I'd carried for over a decade. Please note that no one talks to you about the mental toll it can take on you. Be prepared for how awful it is to fight through a food addiction. You will be forced to unpack all of the reasons you resorted to food in the first place, and it can break you, emotionally. You'll have to face all of your demons, all the shit that you've been running away from your entire life. There's a reason you disappeared into food in the first place. It has been the only thing that has worked for me. I do OMAD and it has helped me refocus and get over those toxic food cravings. It's a lifestyle change that society does not support, but I'm determined to keep it up. Not me, but coworker lost 113 pounds in a year from using Wegovy. I have lost over 100 pounds from my heaviest weight partly due to my own actions. I lost around 30 before going on Wegovy, well initially Ozempic, then Saxenda, and currently Wegovy. The rest has been while on Wegovy. It has stopped my food noise in my head and I cannot eat as much. It's been a life-changing medication for me but is expensive as hell. Gallstones. Better eat fat-free or you'll be in hell for the whole night. That'll do it. Had my gallbladder removed 10 years ago. The first time I went to the ER, they told me it was a UTI. I wanted to backhand the doctor so badly. My mom also had gallstones. She said that the pain was worse than childbirth. Best way I could describe the pain was I felt as if someone was crushing my spine. Developed a severe eating disorder. I was a chubby kid from age 5-10. Family made fun of me. Classmates made fun of me. So I started skipping breakfast. Then I'd skip lunch at school. Next thing I knew I was fasting for 3 to 4 days at a time in fucking 5th grade. My relationship with food is still all kinds of fucked and I am in my 30s. I've bounced all of the spectrum of disordered eating. Anorexia, orthorexia, bad, bulimia, yada. Getting better though. I started antidepressants not too long ago and gained a bit of weight. Currently chubby but like I am mostly okay with it. I hope you're doing okay. It's incredibly easy in principle, very hard to do in practice. But literally just stop eating so much. Exercising is also very important, but if you want to just shed some pounds quickly and safely and see results to get you motivated, just cut way back on the food you are eating. And keep drinking water to keep you full. The first week will suck, after that you honestly can get used to it. Just eat 3 small meals a day, or even 2 meals would work. No snacks, no bullshit before bed. Only drink water for liquids. You will start to see real results within a week. The no bullshit before bed hits hard. It's so tempting to have a small cup of ice cream. Yes, a cup. But a bowl. Or have something crunchy or salty. Bedtime snacks are tough. Around 8 or 9 when you're watching TV. Cozy and want something to munch on. These are the 2 hardest hours of the night. Greatest diet on earth, being poor. Few years after college, I tipped the scales at around 280 to 290. Moved into a new apartment and started to fend for myself, so things like rent, utilities, etc. started to kick in. Didn't have barely anything to eat, so really ate bare basic stuff like rice, beans, mac and cheese, etc. Got so hungry that I started working out to take my mind off not having any good food around. This lasted for about 6 to 8 months before I moved to a new city and got a better job. When I moved, I was around 220 or so. I feel like the cheaper food is, the worse it is for you. Sort of. I was eating ingredients moreno than food. I ate things like rice, beans, frozen veggies, anything I could buy in bulk for cheap. Sometimes I'd eat spaghetti noodles with some butter. Now if I were buying things like frozen dinners, ramen or other crap like that, then, yeah, it would have been way worse.